to start producing at your place instead. Hello, happy campers. Spike.
Chris.
Show.
You can
Show.
Show.
So.
Show.
Oh, it's been a long couple of weeks. Sorry, Scott. We will get the episode out. Promise you. What we can of it. What we got of it.
What we salvaged.
Never, ever get in the way of a man doing business, especially when he's got the rent to pay. So, anyway, when you see the episode, you'll see what. Anyway, we're back. Don't own a single share of GameStop, but we're still here.
Nope.
My golly, you got.
Who would have knew? Huh?
You go, you naughty oddies, you. Anyway, so. I have not seen episode 4 of WandaVision. Was it worth it?
Yes.
They're finally getting around to it.
Because this time it's all about what's happening. Like it's not even like you see Wanda and Vision at the very end of the show, but it's just about this is what's happening. We need to figure out why this is happening and all that. So yeah, it's entertaining. I liked it.
So it's actually watchable. The one I gave up not watching. Right?
I think, I mean, I don't know if they did this on purpose or what, but they're now explaining everything because I didn't think they was going to explain everything until like at the very end of the season.
Mm-hmm.
But they just decided, hey, we might be losing some viewers. Let's explain what's going on here. Mm-hmm. Which I already knew what was going on. I figured it out. I said it. So, yeah.
So is it AIM or is it somebody else?
No, it's her. As far as we know.
I know she was the one messing with everything because she's the one who can. Scarlet Witch is the one who can alter reality around her. So.
Yes, which is also amazing. You know what? Okay, I just want to point this out. You know how Marvel loves to put Easter eggs and stuff? I didn't even see this coming. But in Spider-Man Homecoming, okay, when Peter got in trouble with the principal, it was like, that actor looks familiar. Well, in the principal's office, on his shelf, there's a picture frame of his great whatever in the war that fought with Captain America, and it's the same actor, and I was just like, I did. It's like, yeah, you got me.
Actually, I believe Happy Hogan was supposed to have been one of Sergeant Fury's Howling Commandos, but I believe, I'm not sure. You'd have to double check me on that one. But anyway,
Yes.
So, by the way, this episode brought to you, again, they're not paying us anything, by the Viennetta, which is finally back after 20-some years. Brought to you by Good Humor. It's a new ice cream thing. It's a new old ice cream thing. The beloved who must not be mentioned here and I used to live on these things back in the early 90s, back when we were raising the wee one and the weer one. And these come in vanilla and chocolate. It's like a bunch of layers of frozen dairy confection now, but it's got like a layer of hard chocolate between each layer. So you've got like 15 layers of just ice cream and chocolate, just alternating, and then a little frill on top. Good stuff. It's expensive. Good. It's like $5.29 out at Kroger right now, but for a loaf about that long. But that's about 20 ounces, so that's 8 servings. So that, and it's Good Humor, so that explains the high price. But anyway, Viennetta, give it a try, guys. Please do, because I'd love it to stick around so I can buy a second one. I like those. I like to see the chocolate ones come back too. Chocolate ones are good. Anyway, so what have you got for us, Chris? What happened in the news this week? Why should I care? Who's zooming who, in other words?
Well, before we go anywhere, I think we should just start with the sad news and then move on.
Yeah, there's a bunch of people dropping this past week.
Yeah.
Not to make light of it, but...
2 of them that I have written down is Cloris Leachman, passed away at the age of 94, who was, I mean, she was like a queen. She's literally, to me, she's like another kind of Betty White, basically. You know, she was So
didn't have as good an agent. She was she the one who played Nurse Ratched in One Flew Over the Cuckoo Nest, or am I thinking somebody else?
I think you're thinking of someone else.
But she was Phyllis on the Mary Tyler Moore Show.
She was also in you're one of your favorite movies.
She was in Young Frankenstein.
Yeah.
That's right.
I was gonna say, I was like, yeah.
She was Frau Mueller.
Where the Mo kept on
Yeah.
disappearing. Yeah.
So every time you mentioned her name, Frau Blucher, some horse would get nervous somewhere. That's right. Anyway, but yeah, she was in and out of all kinds of things. But
Yes.
94 though. A lot of these celebrities they're making it to their 90s or start, which is worrying me because Betty White just turned 99.
Yeah.
So yeah.
She's gonna outlive the world.
I have a feeling she goes to 100 and then she says, series over, and just falls apart, falls down and goes to sleep.
Another award-winning actress, Cicely Tyson, sorry, died at 96.
Yeah, she's another one of those who made her, another big one from the 70s who just passed away. And yeah, all of them in their 90s.
Yeah, a lot of, it's weird. It's like usually we don't get that, but.
And none from the Rona, so it's, I mean, when you get into your 90s, okay, you pretty much made your peace with things, or you should be. So.
Yeah, definitely.
I'll bust off a piece of something before I make peace with things. But anyway.
But, yeah, kudos to those two. I mean, awesome job for what they've done, created. One man that cannot go away, in other news.
Cryboard?
George Clooney is producing a reboot spin-off for Legendary for a TV show called Buck Rogers. Remember Buck Rogers?
Da, 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 da. Blee, 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 blee. Yeah.
Yeah, so apparently we're
I believe that was actually Mel Blanc's final role. I think. I'm not sure. Y'all check me on that. All three of you watching this thing.
The ones of you who knows anything about Buck Rogers, yeah. So
that's the one everybody knows. Buck Rogers actually came. He was a ripoff. I can't remember if he was the ripoff of Flash Gordon or Flash Gordon was the ripoff of Buck Rogers. They were both right around the same time. 30s properties that came back in the 70s.
Wow.
And then they erupted
70s,
because Buck Rogers came back in the late 70s, right around 1980. That was Gil Gerard and. Like I said, Mel Blanc did Tweaky and all the other things. And then in the 80s, Flash Gordon tried to do something in 1980, came back later in the 80s as part of the Defenders of the Earth when King Features was trying to make money off of it.
See, I always got the two confused, Buck Rogers and Flash Gordon. I always got them confused.
And Adam Strange is another one. That was DC Comics version.
Well,
All three of them the same thing. Basically, Flash Gordon was an Earthman who gets zapped and transported somewhere, I think. Adam Strange did that for DC Comics. Buck Rogers was an American astronaut or an American pilot who got stuck in suspended animation and wound up in the far-flung future. So, I think Buck Rogers did time travel, and Adam Strange and Flash Gordon just traveled distance. They were contemporary, so that was the difference between them. So,
of course, when those were out, I was like, so
that and Buck Rogers happened on Earth. Everybody else went off to a different planet. So, anyway.
Oh.
Yeah.
Well.
You gotta pay attention, kid.
Now you know. So, a funny story I thought I would share.
Oh, is it funny?
I think
hilarious?
I think it is hilarious, actually.
I'll laugh.
A man in Brazil ended up finding a curious rock and posted it on Facebook. The rock looks exactly like Cookie Monster. And now there is, what are those rock people called? The people that studies rocks and stuff.
I'm sorry, I'm on the blue screen of death right now. You got a rock that looks like Cookie Monster. And
Yes.
he's got
Actually, I've seen the video.
like a
It's
geologist
hilarious.
who's looking at it or whatever.
Yes.
A rock guy
Well,
is,
he
yeah.
posted it on Facebook, and now what is it?
Geologist,
Geologists,
I don't
whatever.
know.
Those people, rock people,
Rock
are
stars,
offering
yeah.
this guy $10,000 for this rock. Now, you can actually look this rock up. I've seen it, and yes, it looks just like the Cookie Monster. It is hilarious.
Me want cookie. me want GameStop stock.
How about
I
that?
buy my own cookies. Me buy my own cookies.
Is it too late to get into that stock?
Yes, it is. Way too late. But actually, listen, for those of you who are trying to keep track of this, here's a quick lowdown. Okay, there's a Reddit. It's an online group. They have all kinds of different little specialties, what they call subreddits, which are on specific topics. One's called Wall Street Bets, and it's been around for like 8 or 9 years now. And all they do is talk about wonky stuff on Wall Street. One of their users, his name was Deep F blanking Value, noticed that there was a lot of short selling occurring on GameStop stock. And he happened to like GameStop, so he owned several shares, and he's owned a bunch of shares of GameStop for years on end, apparently. And what a short seller on Wall Street does is they'll borrow stocks from a brokerage firm. Borrow. In other words, somebody else owns the stocks. The brokerage firm holds it for them. The short seller will borrow it and then sell it at retail right then to get the money. And then the short seller expects the price to go down even further so they can buy the stock back in a certain amount of time for a lower price, give the stock back from whoever they borrowed it from, and then keep the difference. Well, there's a little thing called a short squeeze. Okay, now shorting the stock is where you buy high and sell low. Shorting squeezing the short is where somebody else decides, you know what, this stock has higher value than this. This stock should be valued higher. So the prices go up instead of down. So if you're short selling a stock and the price starts going up, you start sweating blood because you need to replace that stock within a certain amount of time, or you're going to get your butt thrown into most likely a federal prison somewhere for theft. And so you have to do this. And then remember, a stock can only go as low as 0, but there's no theoretical higher limit. There's no high limit that a stock can go. A stock can be worth $1 cajillion if cajillion was a real number. And so if this short seller has borrowed like 100 stocks, 100 shares somewhere of this stock, and he sells them for like $10 a piece, he makes $1,000. He thinks they're going to go down to $1 a piece. He'll be able to buy back all 100 shares for $100, give the 100 shares back where he borrowed it from. He gets to keep the $900 difference. Well, what happened with GameStop is that it was, I'm trying to think of the numbers here, I think it was $15 when it started, all this started. It's now pushing $400 and trying to edge towards $500 a share, which means that these short sellers borrowed 125% of the stock that's out there, which meant they borrowed every share in existence and then they made a bunch up. So there's a bunch of people in trouble here. And because Reddit is now, these Reddit guys on Wall Street Bets are now buying it, and they're doing the worst thing that could possibly happen to these short sellers. They bought it and they're holding it. Because remember, ownership trumps borrowing, so to speak. And so these guys are not willing to sell, and the price keeps going up because all these short sellers have to get these shares put back in, or they're going to be thrown off Wall Street at the least and thrown in prison at the worst. Most likely the guys who did the 25% over are going to prison for that one, but just on fraud. So these guys who had been short selling it at 15 are now looking at a $400 a share buyback. That's why the price jumped so high, because a lot of these short sellers saw what was happening, like when it went up to like $50, $60, and they said, forget this, we're out of here. They started buying up a bunch of stock so they could get out of the position and just go ahead and lose the money. And as soon as they did that, nobody's selling, remember?
Right.
So all the Redditors are not selling, which just makes it even more rare, and the price just keeps going higher and higher, and everybody's making a fortune on paper over on Reddit, but until they actually sell the stock, they won't make a dime. So you have to, it's called realizing the profit. And right now, most of the guys on this subreddit are refusing to do it. So they own like several million shares of Reddit stock, and they are not giving up. So that's what's happening there. And even you've got Republicans like Ted Cruz and Democrats like Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez who are actually on the same side rooting for the Redditors on this. The only people who don't like the Redditors in this are the guys on Wall Street who are either working for these hedge funds that are short selling or have friends who work there. So it's loads of fun. Believe it or not, Joe Biden did not unite America, Reddit did. So Diamond Hands is going to be, Diamond Hands is the first catchphrase of 2021.
Diamond hands.
That's where you have the hand, and you hard as diamond. You will not give it up.
You can do that on Minecraft.
And yeah, and it's managed to destroy the Robinhood trading app too, and it's destroyed. Good Lord, there's supposedly already 10 hedge funds dead over this. So there's all kinds of nice havoc going on right now. Good riddance. You guys have been dicking us all over since probably about the 50s, I think, is when corporatism really started rising up. You guys deserve every inch in your butt you get. So, what else you got? Now that I've gone completely off tangent here, let's get back on track here.
So Disney Plus is doing a lot of things. So first of all, they're pushing their movies back from spring to fall. And of course, movies like The Kingsman.
Oh God, when is Black Widow coming out now?
I have no idea. I have no idea. I don't even think they actually know. I think they're still shooting for it.
I think they actually do have an idea. I think I know why they're doing this. But go ahead and explain to the folks at home what's happening.
Well, like apparently they were. Where do I actually begin on this? Like, seriously.
They've been pushing this. It's the pandemic.
Yeah, the whole pandemic, it has them all uptight, so they're just like, you know what, we're going to release this on our streaming service. We might hold out on these certain things. So, like, I think like a month ago, they were planning on putting Black Widow on Disney Plus, but then they said, no, let's not do that. And now I don't, it's all over the place.
Here's the problem here. And somebody, I swear, Chris, maybe you remember, maybe somebody on this show predicted this was going to happen. I'm hoping I don't have that thing on sideways. But anyway, I could have sworn somebody predicted that this would happen. Every studio had to have its own streaming service.
Oh, yeah.
Who would have said? Anyway, and I could have sworn somebody said there's going to be a huge shakeout because people are not going to keep paying all this money to all these studios for all this crap that they keep throwing up against the wall. Who would have said that? Anyway, what's happening is Disney has found out what everybody else in the streaming industry is finding out. Churn. People are showing up just long enough to watch WandaVision, and they're tuning out. WandaVision is not stirring large numbers of people to watch to pay for Disney Plus. Black Widow is not going to spur a bunch of people to buy Disney Plus. Okay. So what they're doing is, even like with a 2-hour movie, they give away 1 week free trials, right? All you have to do is create a fake email address, give it to Disney Plus, and then you can log in for a free week. although I'm not saying this, but you can log in for your free week, watch the movie you want to watch, and then cancel. And the best part is, on most of these, you can sign up and then immediately cancel, and you still get to keep your week free trial. You don't even have to cancel, don't even have to remember to cancel at the end.
Yeah.
And what they're finding out is that putting all these, like Warner is going to do, they're putting all their big movies and stuff onto a streaming app.
Mm-hmm.
Well, it's one thing for HBO to do it for $15 a month. It's another for Disney Plus to do it for $6. Okay, HBO at least has a deep library. It's got the entire Warner Brothers library. It's got more value perceived than Disney Plus.
Yes.
Disney Plus is going to appeal to kids and parents with kids and parents of kids and parents who have to deal with kids and non-parents who have to deal with kids. Anybody with a kid under 10 who still sits there and gawks with drool coming out of their mouth at Frozen 2 is going to be paying $6 a month for Disney Plus. But anyway, so what Disney is figuring out, we're not going to make our money back if we send this to Disney Plus, because Black Widow is what, at least $100 million budget, probably higher than that.
Yeah.
And so they want it in theaters, because the old way of doing it, where you release to theaters first, 2 months later it comes out on either streaming or DVD, and then it goes to the other one like a month or two after that, and then so on, so on, so on.
See, now.
And remind me when we get done with this story, let's talk about physical media and the importance of physical media in the 21st century. Because I actually have a salient point to make on it, but you go ahead and finish your thought here real quick.
I think another thing is that the reason why they're putting some of their stuff until like fall is because they know as much as I do that when the whole vaccine is out, everybody's going to feel comfortable going out. And there's places here in the United States where it's going to be about probably at the end of March to June when the vaccine is actually everywhere, like everybody actually has it.
And there's one other thing about March to June. That ain't flu season no more. Flu season ends around March or April. Once we get about halfway through spring, the flu goes away, because we're getting more sunlight. Longer days means more sunlight, means more UV rays, means more dead viruses, which means the end of the flu season, and you start seeing this stuff ratchet back.
So,
so put that together with the whatever they're up to, what now, 4 vaccines on this. I think Johnson & Johnson released a 1-dose vaccine. It's not quite as effective as the 2-dose ones, but it's out there. Anyway.
go to Walmart and buy the expensive one, or go to the dollar store and get the mini one. Doesn't cost too much, but you know.
You get what you pay for, right?
I don't know, but yeah, the whole app situation is really funny, because something else that Disney Plus is actually doing is that they just now said that they are going to have a bunch of movies and TV shows from the Stars app. Now, of course, I hope everybody knows what Stars is. Before streaming services and everything, you had HBO, you had Cinemax, you had Showtime, and so on and so on, and then you had Stars. Now, Stars was pretty much, well, a long time ago, it was pretty much like HBO, except Stars ended up just deciding to show the same stuff over and over and over again, to where it's like, you're going to show the same movie every day of the week?
That's Stars.
And then they'll have like their own TV shows, like they did Ash versus the Living Dead on there. I think that's what it was called.
Yep.
And then the most famous one is Outlander, which I never watched. And then Black Sails, which I did get to watch like
That's the
a few
pirate
episodes.
movie.
That was actually pretty
Pirate
good,
show.
yeah. And stuff like that. Well, now, I didn't know that I didn't know Disney had any type of. I don't know if that is stars as Fox or whatever, but
Disney owns
apparently
Fox, yeah. Fox, I think, owns Stars.
See, I didn't even know
I
that.
think. I'm not sure.
So
I know
yeah.
MGM owns Epics, but for all the difference that makes. But.
So yeah, because I remember loving Stars a long, long time ago, but then they just changed their policy and was like showing the same stuff.
They got priced out of the market, is what it was. They didn't want to keep paying that much. What happened was all the studios got greedy. They all owned their own movie channels, so they said, "Screw you,
and that's,
screw Stars."
That's the thing. Like, in case you guys don't know, Showtime has an app, Cinemax have an app, and it's like there's nothing on those ever.
And that's one of the things I want to talk about when it comes to the physical media. We'll talk about that somewhere down the road.
Well, we can do it now.
Well, if you want to talk about it now, let's do it now because we're thinking about it. Okay. I want to talk about. Hold on.
Nope.
Put a quiet little part right here so I know to split the episode here so we can put this out. Okay, now, so physical media, guys. If anything, Disney Plus recently came out and said there is no effing way we're ever putting the Song of the South on Disney Plus because Song of the South was an animated movie that Disney did back in the 40s that looked at what were called Uncle Remus stories. Those are the Brer Rabbit, and I've talked about it on this show before, Brer Rabbit stories and stuff. It looks at black culture, like deep southern black culture. Well, there are certain people at Disney who find that blatantly offensive and they will not release it because they think it'll either be embarrassing to Disney or they just don't like it so they don't think anybody should see it. Okay. They also recently decided that Dumbo will no longer stream on Disney Plus in any way, shape, or form. Okay? So, because the crows.
Because of the crows?
The crows. That's why.
Were they in it during the entire movie?
Oh, it doesn't matter. So Dumbo's going down. So, plus, remember, he has to have a crow feather in order to pretend he can fly, or to believe he can fly. So, here's what's going on. Okay, those are two of the more blatant examples, and that's Disney Plus. Okay, it kind of tends to cater to families, to kids. All of these studios have their own streaming services now, okay? Amazon has its own issues going on, okay? What's going on, these studios that own these streaming services are now editing for content because somebody at that studio is getting offended by something in one of these productions, one of these movies, TV shows, something. They're editing those out. So there are large chunks starting to disappear from these streaming libraries. Not just in the term, not just a bleep here or a missing scene there. Entire runs of episodes are disappearing because they're considered problematic in modern sensibilities. Also, I mean, right now I believe you can still watch Blazing Saddles on HBO Max. But you have to sit through, what is it, a 4-hour warning beforehand or something?
Look, let me tell you something. If you get rid of Blazing Saddles, I will personally come there and whoop some major butt. Okay?
The thing I'm trying to say is it's not just that. They will take these things away, and there's a related problem too. I owned a movie on the Amazon. Well, no, I didn't. No, I actually did have one disappear on me. I couldn't tell you what it was. Amazon lost the rights to several movies on their streaming service, okay? So you have Amazon, you have Amazon Prime, okay? Both have a video service. They're supposedly separate, okay? Amazon Prime Video is the one where you pay so much each month you can stream all you want. Amazon Video is the one where you buy the rights to watch a movie off of Amazon servers. So you buy the rights to Dirty Harry, for example. You can watch Dirty Harry as much as you want. You don't get to watch any of the other Dirty Harry movies. You just bought the rights to that one. happened is that Amazon is starting to lose rights to some of these digital sales, but the terms and conditions of the Amazon Video does not guarantee you access to these movies. So if you have the rights to, if you purchased, for example, Dirty Harry from Amazon Video, so you can watch Dirty Harry whenever you want, somebody decides they're offended because Dirty Harry steps on the killer's busted up ankle at the 50-yard line of the San Francisco Stadium. They decide to yank the rights away from Amazon. You have no recourse. Amazon's not going to give you credit because you paid your price, you took your chances. They lost the rights to that movie, it's gone. I'm not saying Dirty Harry's gone from Amazon Video, I'm just making an example. This is the importance of physical media. And this is the point I'm trying to make. You want to buy it on DVD. You want the DVD. Do not, listen to me, this is actually changing my advice from before, okay? I used to say, there's no sense having the DVD because it's all streaming now. You can find it, you can get digital copies and stuff. We're seeing now people are going back on their words. These terms and conditions means that the ordinary terms of sale no longer apply. So screw Amazon Video, screw buying things from any of these studios and stuff, screw the streaming services. If there's a movie, a TV show, anything that you like, buy it on DVD. Don't buy the music from iTunes, buy it on CD. Strip it and use it as an MP3 on all your devices. Yes, it's not as convenient as streaming it through iTunes, but if iTunes decides they don't like the artist you enjoy so much, for example, I'm surprised this hasn't happened more in country music yet, but there are a lot of conservatives in country music in Nashville. What if somebody at iTunes decides they don't like their political point of view and starts yanking them in mass from the iTunes servers? Well, what are you going to do, Bubba? You bought it from them, but they said, you know what, you can't have it anymore. I don't want you to have it. You have to buy the DVDs and the CDs, and this leads to another point. Okay, so for your own protection, do that so you can at least see it, incredibly enough, the way the director intended it. Okay? Which was the huge hue and cry about things like Video Angel, which would automatically edit out like curse words and nudity and graphic violence and stuff automatically out of DVDs. There's a thing, look it up. What happened is Hollywood screamed loud and long that it was violating the director's vision and stuff. Well, now all of a sudden they don't give a crap about the director's vision. They want their worldview forced on everybody else. So if you want to see Blazing Saddles, get out there and find the unaltered DVD right now before they manage to get a hold of it and finish butchering it. Same thing with a lot of these other things. Clockwork Orange will go away for showing the mentally ill in a bad light. Last House on the Left, the best horror movie I've ever talked about. A bunch of these other controversial movies, controversial TV shows, things that would make people uncomfortable could be going away. Get your physical media now. That leads me to, like I said, to one more point. Want to guess where I think this goes next? We were talking about GameStop earlier,
Yeah.
and how the price is now like $400 or $500 a share.
Yes.
AMC Theaters is another recipient of this. Okay, these same Redditors started buying AMC theater stock. AMC was about to declare bankruptcy a couple of months ago.
Yes.
Okay, because they thought they'd be able to reopen, and like, nope, they shut down the coronavirus even harder, and they shut it down. AMC stock has climbed. It's gone back out of the penny stock territory, like $3 or $4. It's now up around $30, $40, something like that. It's now got so much value that one of these hedge funds that needed stock to replace because their little borrowing thing ran out, they needed the stock. The Redditors own all the AMC stock and wouldn't let it go. They wouldn't sell to them. They desperately needed the stock. They went to AMC and said, look, we'll give you $600 million in cash if you would give us the stock that we can use to replace this. So AMC did it. AMC got $600 million in cash from this hedge fund. It would have cost them several $billions to buy on the open market. They got $600 million in cash, gave them the stock. The hedge fund managed to put the stock back where they borrowed it from. They're off the hook. AMC is now suddenly able to survive all this and may be able to hang on till the spring when these things start lifting. So Reddit actually saved AMC's butt on this. So because of them, the AMC theater chain will survive, could survive the coronavirus. So, and there's one other, actually there's several other stocks, but there's another stock you would never, I don't know if you've heard this or not. One of the other stocks the Redditors are pushing, Blockbuster.
I'm all down.
Now here's the other thing.
Down.
The reason the Redditors are pushing Blockbuster, it's not that they're trying to squeeze the short sellers, although that's a side benefit. They believe in GameStop. They believe, this is why I said, talk about physical media. They believe in having the little the game discs that you can put into your PlayStation, your Xbox and stuff, so you don't have to deal with their servers. Okay? Buy the little Switch. You need a place where you can buy like your old Nintendo Wiis, and you can buy games for them. Find your old NESs, your Genesis, your PlayStation 1, 2, 3, and 4, stuff like that, and the old school games, which everybody is getting into. The retro games are coming back because they had a definite beginning, a definite end. You could actually have fun with those, and you didn't need internet connectivity and have to deal with a bunch of yard apes telling you how you had to conduct yourself online just to play them. So that's why they're pushing GameStops. They didn't want AMC to go away because they like going to movie theaters. That's why they were pushing the AMC stock, and they managed to save them. They're pushing Blockbuster because, get this, the Redditors believe that we need a video chain. We need a video rental chain. Doesn't that sound familiar?
Yes.
That one's idea a couple of years ago. He wanted to start a video store.
I think that video stores should come back because, I'm sorry, video stores had selection of everything that you want, even B-list movies that you can't find anywhere was right there. And then they said, oh no, Redbox is better.
No, Redbox was cheaper. But
no,
and that's the other thing too. A lot of these video stores, especially the mom and pop stores, were curated. In other words, these were like private lending libraries where you paid so much for the right to borrow a title, and you could watch it and then bring it back and get yourself another one. Hey, if you like that one, try this. Because that's what this one wants to do. He wants to run a video store so that somebody comes in and buys the Texas Chainsaw Massacre. Well, hey, check out Child's Play, or check out this, or check out that.
Look, I kid you not.
Try Grindhouse. You'll like this.
The video store that we had, I was such a good friends with those people that worked there.
Roar's Video?
Yeah, well, it was from...
It was Roar's, and then it became something else.
Yeah.
But
I was actually able, because before the movie was put out on the shelf, they let me get to take one home and watch it. That's how friendly I was with them. And I would sit there and talk to them about movies all day. That if somebody literally came in and says, which one is better? And I'd be like, look, let me show you everything. And the workers would be like, yeah, this guy knows his stuff. And I would just literally...
And guess what? You know what that's called? That's called community. Okay? Yes. That's called social... That's called socializing. Social media is a faint, pale cry of actual socializing, talking one-on-one, face-to-face, getting hands-on experience with things, which is another topic I'll talk about here in a minute because I know I'm rambling right now. We need to talk about social media and Lent. Remind me of that one.
This is also the reason why, if you ever want to become a filmmaker, if you want something easy to do a horror movie. Because one thing I learned when I was at that video store is that on the weekends, you would always have a bunch of teenage girls that was having like a slumber party and would rent like 5 or 6 horror movies, and they weren't like good horror movies. These were like B-list horror movies that sucked.
Sleepaway Camp.
Yeah. Yes.
Which is actually a lot better than its
And not even the
reputation
first one, like
Yeah,
number 4
so-
or something. And it's like, really? So, yeah. So,
is. And that's something that gets lost in modern society. And it's something, again, these Redditors want to bring back. So things do tend to self-correct. I didn't mean to bust out the crystal ball this much in this recording session.
But I love talking about that stuff. It's like, Blockbuster, yeah, you made my day.
So yeah,
So,
Blockbuster. They're
for it.
trying to bring Blockbuster back. You can actually still buy Blockbuster stock. I don't know how they did it, but you can still buy Blockbuster stock.
Still
There
like
ain't many
one.
left, but
Isn't there only one left? One Blockbuster?
one Blockbuster store. Apparently, there's
It's
still
like
a
the
bunch of shares
main
out there.
Blockbuster, the very first one, actually.
Yeah.
So.
But
God bless you guys.
okay, so in other words, buy physical media every chance you get. I'm telling you, there's a storm coming, guys, and it's going to get worse with Joe Biden in charge. These guys are going to sit here, and you thought the Reaganites were tight-assed back in the 80s. You don't know nothing till you see what these tight-asses coming out of the Biden administration are going to be, man. The Obamites, oy vey, you don't know what's coming. Okay. Let's pause for a second. I'm going to put in a little pause here because next we're going to talk about another topic here, which is social media and Lent. For those of you who are not Catholic, Lent. That is not a phrase you hear very often. I may be the first one online who said that exact phrase. For those of you who are not Catholic, and yes, the Pope is Catholic, and the bear does shit. But anyway.
Shit. Okay.
So anyway, Lent is, if you think about Mardi Gras is a party leading up to what's called Fat Tuesday. Fat Tuesday is the day before Lent, which is that Wednesday about 40 days out from Easter. Those 40 days, you're supposed to sacrifice something. You're supposed to give up something that you would normally like so that you can understand the suffering of Christ. You can get an idea. Most people give up sweets or alcohol or smoking, things like that for 40 days. And the other thing too is the idea is you're supposed to give up bad habits for 40 days. The idea is you can come back after Easter and go back to your bad habit if you want it, but like with smoking, if you give up smoking for Lent, after 40 days, the jonesing isn't quite as bad as it was when you started. So there's a good side to that. There is a trend growing this year, and I honestly think this will be something that's going to come sling right under the radar, just like the Redditors did with the Wall Street stonks. It's called social dieting, and this is where people are going to give up social media for Lent. So starting Lent, Ash Wednesday is what it is. Starting Ash Wednesday, these people are going to come off of Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, YouTube, all these other things. They're going to give it up for 40 days. And then at the end of 40 days for Easter, then they'll come back and see, do they want to come back to these social media things. Social media has gotten so toxic that there are people taking this seriously this year.
Yeah.
And people are just fed up with hearing how awful they are all the time from these self-appointed social critics, and they've just decided to walk away from it. Hashtag walk away.
Which also I want to add, I read this thing where they were talking about trying to do new types of social media to where you can't talk about religion and politics on there. So you can't like sit there and fuss at somebody else for believing in this or whatever. Things like that I'm actually all for, to be honest. I don't know what they're going to come up with or what, but they're trying to...
But who would use it?
Oh, people will use it.
I don't know.
People will use it.
People want to yell at other people and not get yelled back at. That's the problem. You want to be able to cuss that guy out on your next door neighbor. You want to cuss him up and down till he's blue in the face, but you don't want him cussing you back because then you'd have to hear it. And it's so much easier to give than to take. So, which is odd. People are usually people who get offended on these things are usually takers, not givers. But nah, I digress. I digest. Anyway.
But you know, speaking of, I actually sat there and watched. They had a live event of fans. Apparently, yesterday is a thing called Love. We love Gina Carano. Day.
She's the chick from The Mandalorian, right?
The chick from Mandalorian that has been getting
That's
all
all
kinds.
I know her as is the chick from Mandalorian.
She's the MMA fighter and stuff like that. She's been in, you know, The Mandalorian, Deadpool, one of the Fast and Furious movies.
Oh hell, I've been in one of the Fast and Furious movies. But
anyway, where she's getting all kind of hate for the things that she posts, which is totally like. I mean, we talked about how much we like her.
Yeah, because she basically tells you grow up and grow a pair. Take care of yourself.
Exactly. So yesterday they had like literally a big, I want to call it a block party, where it was like tons of fans showing their love, and it was like these three guys that was sitting there talking about how social media is toxic and like why are they all hating on her and how wonderful she actually is, and all the fans were like tweeting in and messaging in about how much that they love her and, you know, respect her and stuff like that. And I'm like, this is awesome.
Is that like Nerdrotic involved in that, or heel versus babyface, or any of those guys? Because those are usually the guys on the front.
I think Nerd was
Nerdrotic was one of, because he's usually on the front lines of the fandom menace.
And the best part is that Gina herself literally took her time when she found out and loved everybody's message, like literally, and there was thousands of messages. She loved every single one of them. I was like,
can you feel the love tonight? Hey, she's fighting for her life right now. Kathleen Kennedy wants her gone over at Lucasfilm.
And if I remember correctly, Jon Favreau also said anybody who doesn't like her can suck it.
And Jon Favreau has Dave Filoni's ear, and Dave Filoni is the heir apparent that George Lucas handpicked. So,
so just saying, I don't think nothing's going to happen to Gina.
No. None of Jon Favreau's. Jon Favreau's made Disney way too much money for that. The fact that Jon Favreau has moved from the Marvel side over to the Star Wars side, the only way that happens is Disney makes it happen. So he's got the blessing from Disney. Gina Carano should not be going anywhere anytime soon, unless she does something to tick John off.
Well, that's the thing. She's not posting anything that actually makes you mad at all.
Yeah, unless you're looking for an excuse.
Like the very first photo that she got hated on was the one where it had like a bunch of Nazi people holding their, you know, doing the Nazi thing. And there was one guy that was not. And it had a circle around him.
Mm-hmm. And they still looked at all the Nazi salutes and triggered on that.
And it was like, are you serious? She's actually talking positive. Wow. You know.
The reason why is because, okay, I'm going to get us in trouble here. Okay.
Do it.
Democrats, okay? All the Democrats right now are banding together and they're all pushing the Biden administration, okay? They're pushing hard. Socialism is what it is, okay? They want the government to take care of everything. They want the government to take care of the economy. They want the government to take care of your health care, take care of the environment, take care of this, take care of that. All your rights mean nothing. It's all about taking care of society. So they're socialists, okay? They want they want the federal government to do this because they already lost the battle in the state governments. About 2/3 of the states have thrown the Democrats out of power in the governorships and the state legislature. So the states are almost all Republican now, except for a few notable exceptions. So they all want the federal government to work, which means they're nationalist, which means that these socialists are nationalists. They're national socialists. Well, there was a certain party in Germany back in the 30s that called themselves the National Socialists. Just saying. Of course, rule number one of the internet, all arguments eventually lead to someone being called Hitler. So it never, ever fails.
That is true.
Unlike rule 34, which also never fails, but the less said about that, the better. I will do the...
Oh, I thought you was dabbing. I was like, don't dab. Don't dab.
I'm not going to dab until it's time to kill that dead. Okay. I mean, it's time to dab after this, but it's.
Oh, goodness. My eyes, my brain. Oh.
But I'm doing that one for the. Anyway. Somehow. Okay, we have managed to wander off into about 3 or 4 different topics, and we still haven't finished our news. So, what else have you got on those cards, boy?
Okay, let's see if I can find
Spin
some
me a
important
platter,
stuff.
boy.
Okay,
We got places to be and people to do. Come on.
All right. Okay, so apparently streaming services have been trying to buy, and so far have not succeeded, but has been trying to buy Top Gun, the new Tom Cruise movie. Top Gun 2 Maverick, I think it's
Maverick,
called.
yeah. I actually want to see that. I can't believe I didn't want to see Top Gun because I thought Tom Cruise was the most overrated thing ever, and he is. But I actually want to see what they do with Top Gun 2 because Tom Cruise is either just insane enough to try to actually get in a cockpit, in which case he's going to have to break about 3 or 4 limbs getting back out, which I would pay to see, or they're going to go the Cobra Kai route. I don't understand I don't know what the plot on Top Gun 2 is going to be, but if they go the Cobra Kai route, where Maverick has to deal with all these young Top Guns that just like he put his top kicks through hell.
I think that's actually what it is.
To see Tom Cruise having to deal with all these younger actors and stuff and drive himself insane, especially considering his meltdowns over the masks not that long ago, I would pay to see that. Just to see Tom Cruise get his comeuppance.
I think that's what actually it is. But
I can't wait for Cocktail 2 so he can deal with all the dribble
Risky
glasses
Business
and
2,
stuff.
where he's the dad.
Oh my God, these things write themselves, guys. You can have them for free. We don't even want residuals on these. I'm lying. Send us residual checks. But anyway.
Anyway, I thought that was funny because I think they're like, no, we're not doing that. So, Morbius.
They're still
Remember
making
that movie?
Morbius?
Well, they've already made it.
They've still got their.
It's just
on that.
It is now.
Actually, that's right. Sony's the only one that doesn't have a major streaming service, do they?
No.
Sony's the only one. I just realized that.
But apparently, Morbius, the vampire movie, the one with, what is his name? The Joker.
Jared Leto.
Jared Leto. Mm-hmm. As the.
Which I remember Morbius from the Spider-Man books. If they do it right, this could be the new Blade. If they do it wrong, this could be.
I don't know. I just saw the trailer for Moon Knight. That looks really good.
Yeah,
Way
I mean,
better
there's
than
all kinds of.
Morbius, but
The thing to remember too is I've said it before. Iron Man used to be like a B or C list superhero. You can bring these guys up to the major leagues. They did it with Iron Man. He's now an A-lister, but you can do that, and they did it with Blade for that matter, because Blade was the first big Marvel movie that came out with Wesley Snipes.
Yep.
And that still drives everybody insane, because that happened years before even the first Spider-Man movie.
People still talk about that.
People
movie.
still talk about it. But
it was actually
you can, if it's a good idea, it's a good idea. If you get the right people, the right creative people involved in pushing it, you can go to the moon with it.
Oh,
so, Morbius could succeed. I don't know. I know you're getting ready to tell a story, but Moon Knight is another one of those ideas that it can just write itself if you do it right. Like I said, Batman Who Kills is Moon Knight, but he does it with style.
Right.
So,
well, hold your thought, because apparently we will have to wait until the year 2022 to see Morbius, because they said that they did not want it to come out. It was supposed to be released in October, but apparently they did not want it to go up against James Bond.
Excuse me. Is that one? Wait, October 2021?
No, October of this year.
Oh.
They moved it to
2022.
yeah, because it was supposed to come out October of this year.
Which is just as well. It would never have drawn flies. And
So,
October's the right time to release it, but it's
because it is a vampire thing.
yes, he's a living vampire.
Eh.
Me.
So anyway, apparently, the new Spider-Man 3, whatever it's called, will have actor Charlie Cox in it.
Daredevil?
He played Daredevil in the Netflix series.
Mm-hmm. And did a good job of it, too.
Yeah. And everybody's like freaking out because Charlie Cox was seen on set of the Spider-Man movie. And now everybody's assuming that maybe, and nobody's denied it, that the Daredevil from Netflix will be actually in the new Spider-Man movie.
My question is, who has the rights to the Daredevil show that was on Netflix? Is it Netflix or is it Marvel?
Well,
I believe it is Marvel.
It is Marvel, but it was on Netflix before Disney bought Fox and all that. Because it was, it's Fox actually that actually owns Daredevil. Yeah, because the first movies were Fox.
Yeah, I guess you're right. Mm-hmm.
So, yeah, something like it, yeah.
I knew Fox got all the mutant stuff, but I didn't think Daredevil fell into that crowd.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure, yeah.
Okay, well, you're right. Fox made the two lousy Daredevil movies.
Yes.
Yeah.
So.
Marvel, I think, actually made the one for Netflix. So.
And I think Fox
Fox did production support on that.
Fox also did the Punisher one as well.
Which was another actually pretty good. I hate the Punisher. I despise the Punisher. The Punisher is one of those one-trick ponies that just like, it's Death Wish with a skull on top in front of it. But I gotta admit, the first Netflix series of the Punisher, I actually got through I think 4 episodes before I gave up on it. It was actually better than I thought.
I like them, and I like the first movie. Well, not the first movie, not the one with Dolph Lundgren, but the one with Thomas Jane, I believe his name is.
Mm-hmm.
I like that one. The rest of the remakes and stuff, Warzone, whatever it was, But, yeah. So, anyways, yeah, they were on Netflix before Disney bought Fox, and then when Disney bought Fox, they had to end their stuff because Fox was like, well, we're with Disney now, so take that crap off. So, yeah. Well.
Right. Let's wrap this up because we've been at this for a while.
Okay, yeah.
She who must not be named here is probably getting a little angsty. Antsy. What else you got? Let's finish up big. What's your best?
Finish off big.
What's the best of the rest? Shall I look?
No, hold on.
No, just hold on.
No, not that one.
No, not
Let's
that
see,
one. No, not that one. No.
Okay, there's 2
No,
here.
not that one.
Okay, there's 2 here, but we'll go through it real quick. Okay.
Yeah.
All right. So NBC will be producing a new comedy called Young Rock, which is about The Rock.
Everybody hates rock.
When he was a child, Dwayne Johnson is going to be producing it or something like that.
Considering I know what family he comes from, and any hardcore wrestling fan knows the family he comes from, the Rocky Johnson family. Oh boy, this ought to be hilarious. And actually a great opportunity for a number of black and Polynesian actors, for that matter, because there's a lot of Samoans running around in this story, trust me.
So yeah, that seems interesting.
Plus, bring up something related as far, not as far as The Rock. NBC Universal recently gave the WWE $1 billion for the rights to the WWE network. For 5 years, they will stream on the Peacock service exclusively. So the WWE network is going away effective March 18th. It dies, it stops working. Your subscriptions will end. If you were dumb enough to buy a year-long thing, maybe you get some kind of credit on the WWE shop or something. But it goes away. The only way you can watch WrestleMania will be on Peacock. Wow. But considering you could watch WrestleMania for like $10 a month anyway with the network was $10 a month. Peacock, the premium Peacock without the ads is about $10 a month. So you can still watch WrestleMania. It's just it'll be with Peacock, which means you can watch the Monk Marathon leading up to them. Because that's on Peacock too.
There you go. This sounds good. All right. So this one flew under my radar because apparently this is supposed to come out sometime in March 17th of.
That date's
No. March 17th of 2023. Yeah. So apparently Warner Brothers is actually working on a younger years Willy Wonka. Yeah, I know I said that. And guess who's playing it?
Hold on. You know what I want for my birthday?
Well,
My birthday comes up July 6th. I want one of those little things that you can click together that sounds like a cricket. So when you read a story like that, I can sit here and just the super nasty cricket on you.
You can just
cricket,
download
cricket,
the sound effect on like a keyboard and just be like, press
That's
it
what I
every
need
time.
to do.
Like,
But the problem is if I do that, I'm going to have about 200 sound effects. I'm going to keep reaching over here and doing commentary while you're trying to read this shit. You try to do a review, it'll be a cricket.
stop it. But anyway, yeah.
Get
so
the Harry met Sally part. But you know which part. Anyway.
It's going to be the younger years of Willy Wonka.
Ugh.
And for some reason, they think that apparently they got Tom Holland to play Willy Wonka. Spider-Man, Tom Holland.
I saw Tom Holland in some other movie. Some kind of... He's in some other movie. What movie is he going to be in? It's him and somebody else.
Well, there's a movie with him and Daisy Ridley that is coming out.
That's the one.
Where it's like I don't understand the premise, but apparently like you don't read somebody's thoughts, but you can actually see it.
Yeah,
and
that's
hear
what
it.
it was. I can't remember what it
So
was
it's like,
called. It doesn't matter because it was a stupid idea. But anyway,
yeah, I was the same way. I was like,
I'm trying to figure out. Okay, the beloved who must not be named and I saw the movie Ghost that turned up here at 10th frame. Finally, we finally got to have a date night. We got the. Here's the thing though. We got the entire theater to ourselves. Nobody else showed up. We went to like the Sunday 1 o'clock showing, 1:30 showing. So nobody else showed up. We were the only two in the theater. So we could sit there and laugh and giggle with each other and do MST3K throughout the entire movie Ghost. And we just had a ball. So, excellent date movie. If you've got $100 laying around, I would recommend you take whoever you love out and rent one of the movie theaters at 10th frame and just sit down and watch Ghost by yourselves it's like 2 hours. You'll have a blast. Trust me. Anyway, but that was one of the trailers they were showing us for that movie. And it was like, we sat there and we looked at it, and Ren was like, "What was that?" And I was like, "I don't know, and I don't think it matters." So anyway.
And apparently all the women are dead.
All the women are dead except for this one chick.
So it's like, I wonder why. It's like.
But didn't they say they were going to send a woman up to the moon? They're
I
supposed to
don't
be sending one woman and one man on a mission to land on the moon, come back, and we were arguing on the trip over here which one's going to be left behind. Boy, that's what gets us banned off of YouTube too. Anyway.
Yeah.
So anyway, what else? You got one more, or was that it?
No, that was
That's
it.
it. That's good enough.
I don't think that's.
Any last thoughts before we wrap the hell out of this show?
Can you see my thoughts? Can you read my thoughts?
Cricket, 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 cricket. So until next time, that's
Chris.
and I'm Cricket, Cricket. We'll see you next time on the Spike and Chris Show. Take care, y'all.
Love you.
If I can turn this off. Can you turn this off?